But I adapted the philosophy that it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you what? I developed the belief system that every single failure that you have is just simply one step closer to success. And I kept the dream alive, I kept the hope alive, I kept the beliefs alive, because ultimately what I found is that it's your beliefs that will dictate the amount of action that you take in whatever it is that you're doing. Think about your career or a job that you had first taken. You go in, you do some orientation, you get started with that position. You don't really have a clue what you're doing, right? The more you do it, the more belief you have, the more belief you get in accomplishing it, the more actions you take with that, and then ultimately you can do it with your eyes closed. How many of you guys completely, like, epic fail, goose egg, your first challenge party? Round of applause. My first challenge party, guess how many people showed up? 0. I'm going on business number 7, epic fail, epic fail, epic fail, fail, fail. And finally, I think to myself, please, Lord, let this be the one that works. And these aren't network marketing businesses I've tried. These are traditional businesses. And I saw ViSalus, and I said, you know what, sweetheart? I said to Jennifer, I said, we got to take a shot at this. And I did what, at that particular point in time, I did what any 35-year-old male would do. Called and borrowed $500 from my mom. Talk about humility. And I went and bought myself that ESS. And I got home to Jennifer, and at that particular point in time, I definitely realized that I had oversold myself in the relationship a little bit. And I had to go and make something work. And I came back to Jennifer and I said, sweetheart, I got good news and I got bad news. I said, the bad news is, I said, you know, this little bit of money that I was making over here, I got to walk away from all that. I said, the good news is, though, we're going to be rich. Because I found this thing called ViSalus, and I met this guy named Nick Sarnicola, and Brian and Nick, and these guys have a dream. And I see how I can be a part of that mission and that cause, and this is going to be our home run. It's going to be so easy. I'm just going to call all these people, invite them over, and then we're just going to blend some shakes. We're going to press play on a DVD and sign everybody up. So I called and I called and I called and I called. Got everything all ready, waiting for the influx of people. Even helped Jennifer clean, because I was excited. It's 7:38. Nobody's there. Well, you know, it's pretty warm outside. It's cold. I mean, it's cold outside. Roads are bad. We'll give it another 20 minutes. Nobody shows up. Talk about heartbreaking. I said, you've got to be kidding me, God. Throw me a freaking bone. And we got angry, and so I threw another challenge party. Did another challenge party. Had one person show up. And then I threw a Canadian challenge party. Any Canadians out there? I did what every Canadian challenge party looks like. I said, come on over. We're going to watch the hockey game out in the garage. We're going to drink some beers. Then I invited everybody showed up. And then I said, but first we got to watch this DVD. And then I called Nick all excited. I got 7 people at my challenge party. Can you close it out? Place is packed. Mind you, I had like a 400 square foot apartment, so everybody's like this. Man, this thing's happening. I don't know why I'm here, but I'm excited. Jay's doing jumping jacks. We had fun with it. Nobody signed up at that challenge party, but you guys get the idea. Beliefs lead to actions, lead to results. And the one thing that we never lost, Jennifer and I never lost, was the belief that we could make this happen for us. And once it started to happen for us, we gained the belief in the system, belief in the cause a little bit more, and we started taking this mission to the world. And then we started believing in other people, that they could change their lives, and they could change their surroundings. And with more belief, you take more what? More belief leads to more action. What does more belief lead to? What does more belief lead to? And the more action you take, the more what you get? Results. Belief leads to actions, which leads to your results. It's a very simple formula, I thought. So, that begs the question. Everyone say, Jay, what is a belief? I can't hear you. Jay, what is a belief? Great question. Glad you asked. A belief, in my opinion, is very simple. A belief is a feeling of absolute certainty. A belief is a feeling of absolute certainty. Essentially what it is a batch of similar thoughts. I'll give you an idea. How many of you guys have ever thought about quitting or thought about giving up or saying maybe this might not work? You know, I thought that myself. And I knew that what I had to get was more belief in what it was that I was doing, because sometimes it's hard to keep that belief up. How many of you guys have ever gotten any negativity in your business? Have anybody at the back, have you been told no before? Has anybody called you crazy, people at the back? You see, when we come to events, we get more belief in what it is that we're doing. I think of beliefs essentially as a batch of similar thoughts. It's a feeling of absolute certainty. However, sometimes when we're out building our business, we hear things like, think of it as a filing cabinet. This won't work. You're crazy. You're absolutely ridiculous. You're never going to make it. You're never going to hit it. Come talk to me when it works. How many of you guys have heard things like that before? And it can hurt and it can shake your belief a little bit. Now, when you come to an event, when you go to a local success training, when you come to a huge national success training, and you hear story after story after story after story of people just like you who have gone out there and made it happen, do you get more belief or less belief? How many of you guys have found one story here that has inspired you, that you believe you can draw from that energy to go out and make this happen for you, for your family? This is also known as the law of attraction, magnetism, visualization, secret, affirmations, dream boards, etc., etc., etc. Some people even call it luck. The harder I work, the luckier I get. See, gang, with enough references, you can develop a belief. What can you develop? What can you develop? About anything. You truly can. I love the story about the little girl who's cooking with her mother, and her mother, it's Thanksgiving, and they're cooking a what? They're cooking a turkey. I'm going to go with ham anyway. They're cooking a ham, and the mother cuts the ends off the ham, and the little girl says, Mom, why do you cut the ends off the ham every single Thanksgiving, and why the heck are we eating ham and not turkey? But that's another question. She says, well, you cut the ends off the ham, you just don't eat the ends off the ham. And she says, but why? Well, you just don't eat them. Well, but why, the little girl says. She says, you know what? That's what my mother always used to do. Let me get your grandmother on the phone. So she calls the grandmother up, and the little girl asks her grandmother, Mom, why do we cut the ends off the ham? And she says, well, that's just what we do. You don't eat the ham, silly. And the little girl says, why? And grandmother says, well, that's a good question. Let me link my mother in on the phone. And she calls up her great-grandmother and says, Great-grandma, little Sally's on the phone here, and she wants to know why we cut the ends off the ham. And Sally says, Great-grandmama, why do we cut the ends off the ham? And great-grandmother says, well, The just only way to make the ham to fit in the pot. Sometimes the beliefs that we have can be passed down from generation to generation. And if we hear it enough times, and if we do it enough times, i.e. every single Thanksgiving, that just becomes your belief system and you don't question that anymore, right? However, what I've learned is that your belief system is the one and only power. How many of you guys have ever wanted to have superpowers as a kid? Let me hear you by a round of applause if you want to have superpowers. What I've learned as an adult is the belief system that you have, it is the most powerful superpower that you could possibly have. I love hearing stories about belief. The Bannister Mile. Anybody hear that story before? They said it couldn't be done. It could never be done before. There was scientific reasons. Chemists, biologists, human geneticists were always writing about how it was impossible to make that run happen. And one guy decided to change his belief system and say that it is possible. And when he went out and made that happen, what happened next? Everybody started going and doing it. What changed? What changed for the second guy that went and made it happen? What changed for the third guy that went and made it happen? The fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh. Everyone say their belief system changed. Say it out loud. Their belief system changed. You see, if you can change your belief system, you can change and you can have anything that you want. Henry Ford said it best, whether you think you can or think you can't, you are what? You are what? You're right. And the more and more we tell ourselves something or sell ourselves something, by saying it out loud, by saying it to other people, by thinking it internally, the more and more we create that as our belief system. I can't because, insert whining, crying, lying story here. I can because. You know, when Jennifer and I had our first challenge party, I could have come up with 100 reasons why this would never work for us. Well, nobody will ever join me in this business. No one will ever join me. I've failed at every business that I've had. Of course it's not going to work. I'm broke. Why would anybody follow somebody that's completely broke to go and make money? That's just dumb. But we changed our belief system and we made the decision that we can go out and make it happen. And sometimes we have all these different things that are in play that can impact the way that we think or to the level that we believe in what we can achieve. Would you guys agree? Say yes. How many of you guys have ever experienced a little bit of self-doubt? Say, I might have. You know, a lot of the things that we have, some of the beliefs that we have, I don't deserve this. I'm not good enough for this. Sometimes we hear these things. A lot of us might have even heard them as a child. And we've allowed those things to follow us through our lives. And they ultimately can impact who we are as an individual today if we allow them to. We can say, I can't do this business. I'm too shy. I'm too timid. Gang, these are things that happen as a child. And yes, there's certain things that happen as children that were out of our control. But we can choose to let go of these things. We can choose to get by these things. You know, I always find it funny when I hear people say they're too shy. And I always relate it back to when you're a children. You want to know how people become shy? Say, I do. See, the way we are treated as children, you know, you're hanging out as a child. I want you to think back to when you were a child playing in your sandbox. Do you guys have sandboxes? I had one of the best sandboxes in the neighborhood. So proud of my sandbox. You're sitting there, you're playing with Tonka Talk toys. And then all of a sudden your mom comes over and says, Steve, I want to introduce you to somebody. I want you to introduce my friend Sally. I want to introduce you to my friend Joe. And you're like, yeah, whatever. Playing with Tonka trucks, playing with your G.I. Joe, doing whatever. And then your mom gets embarrassed that you're not acknowledging her friend. And then what does she say to her friend? Oh, don't worry about Sally. She's just shy. And then all of a sudden you grow up a little bit. Some of you girls, you're playing with your Barbie dolls. Guys, you're playing with your action figure heroes. That's what we used to call them, right? There weren't dolls. Your Ken Barbie doll. You're playing with it. You're having fun. You're playing hide and go seek with your friends. And your mom comes over and finds you in the closet and is like, hey, I want you to meet Joe. I want you to meet Fred. You're like, Mom, shh, go away, go away. And then your mom says, don't worry about it. She's just shy. He's just shy. And you hear that over and over and over again. And eventually, what starts to happen? You actually start to what? Believe it. Leave it. Then you go to school. And you're not talking. And the teacher says, don't worry. You don't have to be shy. And you're like, I'm not shy. Well, maybe I am shy. Gang, whatever happened as a child, I want you to forget about that. Forget about it, forget about it, forget about it. The past that you had does not dictate who you choose to be or who you can be today. You can be anybody you want. You do deserve this. You are good enough. And you don't have to be shy. Do something crazy. Go to the mall and just lay down on the floor. I was always trying to get good at stepping out of my comfort zone. So I would just go and do crazy things. And they felt awkward. Laying down at the mall definitely feels awkward. I want you to write down, if you got a piece of paper, I want you to write down one thing from self-doubt. I want you to pull out a pen and pull out a piece of paper. Grab a pen, grab a piece of paper. I want you to write down the one thing that you have, the one challenge that you have relating to self-doubt. I want you to write down, what is the one thing from your childhood? What is the one thing that you have relating to self-doubt that is holding you back? Write down one thing. One thing that's holding you back. And now right next to that, I want you to write down one story, one name, one incident, one instance, one individual that you've heard here this weekend that shows you that that is a lie. I want your belief system to shift from some of these things that are holding you back. I was the first person in my family to go to secondary education and to graduate, let alone go on to be an entrepreneur, let alone go on to be a millionaire. I had to change a lot of things from my family tree, and I had to break free from a lot of things from my past as well. I had to let go of a lot. And I had to let a lot of new belief systems come in. So what's the one thing that you've learned this weekend that says that statement, that either you're not good enough, or you can't have that, or you'll never achieve that, or you'll never hit that, this will never work for you, nobody in our family's ever done that before? What's the one thing that you had to let go from self-doubt, and what's the one story that's impacted you? Something else that can be a belief system is excuses. Excuses. And sometimes we can get really good at coming up with excuses, can't we? You're a professional excuse maker. Well, I don't know anyone. This will never work for me. I don't care if you've been locked in a closet for the last 3 years. You at least know the person that locked you in there and the person that let you out. Don't give me that you don't know anybody. I know you know at least 2 people. I've got to know it all first. I'm not a salesperson. Great, be a challenge person. Nobody came to my party. Awesome. Nobody came to my first party, second party, third party, fourth party either. The other one just showed up to drink beer at the next one. I still made it happen. My friends are all skinny, rich, and dead sexy. Well, they are now. Go find some new friends. My friends are all Libra. None of them can make up their minds. I got no friends. My car fell on my cat. I stubbed my toe. It's too hot outside. It's too cold outside. It's raining. I got a hangnail. I'd really love to do that business, but I need to go wash my hair. You know, when I was younger, I didn't really realize that. I always thought girls just 24/7 in high school. I swear to God. I thought girls every single day, it's all they did, wash their hair all day long. I had no idea that when a girl said, no, I can't tonight, I got to go wash my hair, I had no idea that meant, you're a dork and I don't want to go out with you. Come on, girls, tell me you don't know what I'm talking about. Excuses, 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 excuses. Gang, you can either make excuses or you can make money, but you cannot do both. Excuses, excuses, excuses. I want you to write down what's the one big excuse that you're using right now that's holding you back. What's the biggest excuse that you have? What is it? What's stopping you? What's the biggest excuse? No one left to talk to? Everybody's already thin? There's not enough milliliters in the bag? I wish there was 33 scoops. How do you expect me to put on 10 pounds or lose 10 pounds with 31 scoops? Stupid. What's the one excuse that you have right now? What's the number one reason that you're not a regional director right now? What are you selling yourself? Come on, you can say it. You know what it is. Wah, wah, wah. Write it down. What's the one excuse? Why are you not a regional director right now? Now I want you to write down right next to that, what is the one story that you've heard this weekend? You can write two if you want. What's the number one story that you heard that has made that out to be a liar? I don't have the time. I've got 3 kids working 2 jobs. I don't have time. What's the one person that has impacted you from that relatability aspect here today? You got to break free from these excuses, gang. Everybody uses them. Everybody has them. Me, it's like kryptonite at this point in time. Whenever I hear an excuse, I'm just like, cringe. Well, I'd love to come, but I'm just like, stop. I got to go. What's the one thing that's holding you back? I want you to turn to your neighbor and I want you to share with them what is the number one self-doubt that you have and what has changed for you this weekend, and what is the number one excuse that you have that's holding you back, and what has changed and who has impacted you this weekend. Take 30 seconds, turn to your neighbor, go. What's your number one? If you have more than 2 examples, feel free to share. And switch partners. All right, another belief system that this was something that I had come across all the time for me. The victim mentality. Has anybody ever met a victim? Well, I would be rich, but they rigged the lottery and didn't pick my numbers. I would be rich, but taxes are too high. I would be rich, but Joe got the promotion instead of me because he's always kissing up to the boss. I would be a regional director if they paid out on level 9. Can't believe they don't pay out on level 9. You know, maybe if Ryan, Nick, and Blake would, open up Finland, then, I'd be 2 regional directors right now. I'd be an ambassador if that was the case. You're lucky you know everybody from here. I just moved here. I don't know anyone. If the shake had this ingredient in it, then, I'd be an ambassador already. Guys, there's no conspiracy against you. There's not a secret plot. There's not like the board of conspiracy that's always plotting to screw up everything for you. Everything is the same for everybody. And in the end, no matter what piece of self-doubt that you have, no matter what excuse that you have, no matter what conspiracy you think exists to only hold you back, 100% of the time, I can introduce you to somebody that's more broke than you, that has less time than you, that is more overweight than you, that despite every single odd, they took that, they owned it, they embraced it, they choose not to let that be or dictate who they are, and they went out and they decided to make it happen regardless of the circumstances. They made it happen for them. And you can do exactly the same thing, gang. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. You can do this, you can do this, you can do this. We've all had problems, we've all had drama, we've all had challenges, we've all faced excuses. The only difference is we decided and we chose. The regional director that's sitting near you right now, the only difference between you and the only difference between them is they went out and they talked to more people. They've had to deal with more problems, more challenges. They decided to own those. They decided to not point fingers out the window, but they decided to look into the mirror and say, you know what? This is my challenge, this is my problem, and I will conquer it. Change your belief system, gang. You can believe that Ryan, Nick, and Blake are out to get you by not putting 33 scoops in the bag. It's your choice if you want to believe that. You can believe anything that you want. This is a big one. How many of you guys have had to break through some fear? Fear, oh man. Fear is a scary one. You think I was scared to pick up the phone the first couple of times? No, actually I wasn't. I was excited. You think I was scared to pick up the phone the next time when nobody showed up to my challenge party? Heck yeah. But I choose to not let it get the best of me. You see, some people look at failure and their belief system is one of what I call a fixed mentality. Meaning that this individual, and I may be speaking to you and I may not be speaking to you, but certain individuals believe with a fixed mentality that their IQ is stagnant and you are born with a certain level of IQ and you cannot achieve anything higher. They believe that they are destined for certain things and they cannot break free from those certain challenges that they may have. They believe that because they can't be a public speaker, they don't like being on stage, that they could never get on stage. A growth-based mentality is very different. A fixed person looks at failure and says, I'm a failure. They get a question wrong on a test, they say, I'm stupid. They don't have anybody show up to their challenge party and they may say, I don't deserve this, or I can't do this. They never hit rising star, so they believe that they'll never be a star. You don't understand, I miss rising star, I miss second chance rising star, I miss last chance rising star. If Rising Star was only 2 enrollments, I'd be a superstar. See, that's taking all of them into one big thing. A fixed mentality, that's what they believe. Growth mentality, we embrace failure. We love failure. We seek every moment to fail. And we love it. Because we understand that every single time you fail, it's an opportunity to learn. And success is buried on the other side of failure. It's buried on the other side of rejection. The more times you can go out there and fail, the more times you can go out and actually get better at it. The more times you do something, the better you get. Practice makes perfect, right? Practice. Practice. You see, guys, practice means fail, 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 epic fail, succeed. If nobody showed up to your challenge party, think of how you can do something different. Think of how you can go out and meet new people. Think of how you can get better at inviting. Guys, failure is a beautiful thing. I want you to visualize a pendulum. A pendulum, one of those things, you swing the ball up, you let it go, it hits the other ball, and it comes up symmetrical on the other side. You guys know what I'm talking about? Say yes. I want you to visualize on this side, success. What's on this side? What's on this side? Failure. On the left, what's on the left side? What's on the right side? What's on the left? And what's on the right? The pendulum will create success to the same degree that you are brave enough to fail. You swing the ball to here and fail a little bit, you will get this much success. You want to swing the ball up to here and fail here, then you will succeed to here. If you want to have all the success that you deserve, then you've got to be brave enough to swing the ball from as far out to the left as you can and fail as hard as you can, but get back up and come back for more, because the success on the other side is something that you absolutely deserve and any one of you can have, but you've got to dare to fail. Can you guys dare to fail with me? Because Lord knows I failed. And I promise you, if you talk to every single ambassador, they will tell you story after story on how they failed and how they wanted to quit and how it hurt. They've been rejected time after time. They've sought pain time after time. Rejection is not about you, gang. Don't feel that because somebody says no, because somebody said they don't want to do it, don't take it personally. It's not about you. It's about them and the timing in their life. Is that no for now or is that no forever? My favorite question. Can I put you in the follow-up system and I'm going to ring you back in a month? I put them in my slow cooker, my little crock pot. I'm always simmering it over here. Simmer down now. Simmer down. Perception. Does your fear because of you're scared of what other people will think? You're scared you're going to lose a friend because you asked them if they want to take a 90-day challenge? Are you serious? What kind of friend is that you're scared that much of what they're going to say or what they're going to think that you don't want to pick up the phone and talk to them about something that you're doing? Would you be scared to ask them to go to a movie? Would you be scared to ask them to go to a dinner? Would you be scared to ask them to take a trip with you? But for some reason, you're scared to ask them to take a 90-day challenge? Does that sound crazy? Gang, who cares what other people think? They're not the ones paying your bills. They're not the ones that's in control of your life. Do not relinquish the power that you have over yourself. You are the ones that controls everything in your life. And do not give them the power to control how you feel about you and what you're doing. Don't give that power up. Keep your dream, keep it alive, Own it, because fear ain't nothing but a damn liar. Fear, you ask an ambassador. They went from being scared to do this, to do that. They've taken their number one thing, that fear that they had, and they have turned that into a mantra. You ask me what fear is? Fear is an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to get over something so that I can get better at something new. You give me a shot to be scared, to find and pursue, and oh, fire Timon. Oh, shoot. Oh, how do I moment. If I get a chance to feel butterflies in my stomach and I get to say, oh my God, oh, what is going to happen next? Sign me up. Because it's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to get over something that I'm not yet good at or that I'm not yet great at. Does that make sense to you guys? Don't be scared to try new things. You're either growing, what are you doing? You're what? Or you're dying. You're either learning or you're not. And gang, every single moment that you have to go out and do something different should be an opportunity that you seek, that you look for, that you long for, that you want to have. I want you to pull out your pen and paper one more time. And I want you to write down the biggest fear that you have right now. What are you scared of? What is the biggest fear that you have that's been holding you back? Write that down. And what's the one story that you've heard here today? Who's the one individual that inspired you? What changed for you? Write down your fear and write down the person that inspired you. Write down the moment that inspired you. Write down the thing that inspired you, the piece of information. What individual up here gave you permission to put a line through that and to finally break free of the shackles that's been stopping you from achieving the success and the dreams that you so much deserve? What lie have you been living? What's the lie? Time for a reinvention, I think. The level of thinking that has gotten us to where we are today will not get us to where we are committed to be. Albert Einstein. What's the one thing that you've learned here? What's the one thing that you've taken away? I want you to shout out what your fear is that has been holding you back. What's the one thing that's been holding you back? I want you to yell it out. I don't want you to tell your neighbor. I don't want you to listen to your neighbor. What's been holding you back? Say it out loud. Are you scared of what people would think? Are you scared that you won't succeed? What is it? Let me hear you. Are you scared of rejection? I want you to draw a line through that. And I want you to circle the one thing that has given you permission to go past that. Gang, it's the things that hold us back that are the ultimate killer. Procrastination, stone cold killer of success. Putting things off. You've got to let things go. You've got to get rid of that self-doubt. You do deserve this. You deserve every single thing that this world has to offer, and you deserve to be able to change your life. You deserve to be able to change the lives of others around you, or at least ask them if they'd like the opportunity to. There's nothing that you shouldn't be scared of. Because, gang, what I know about this family right here is that we are destined to change the world together, but we cannot do it alone. We need more people like you who are willing to step up and who are willing to stand for what they believe in, and who are willing to get out there and face fear and face rejection and face all of the things that you need to go through, because we have a big world to conquer out there. How many of you guys plan on going repeat VIP with us and break through a couple of your fears and break through a couple of your objections? Guys, let's cue up some music out there, and I want to hear you guys if you're going to be going out there and breaking through a few fears. Let me hear that. Guys, so many of you guys have convinced yourselves that someone else is responsible for changing your story. Yes, some things happen, but gang, it's out of your control. It's not about what happens to you, it's about how you respond. Would you agree with me? Say yes. You're not at the mercy of your lies, ladies and gentlemen. You need to break through with your fear. It's time to make a choice. It's time to stand up. Is it you, or is it going to be them? Is it going to be your doubts and your fears and your troubles and your problems? Or are you going to own this and say, I deserve this, I deserve this, I want this, and I choose to change my life, and nobody's going to stop me? How many NSC VIP qualifiers do we have out there? I need you to let go, guys. Will you let go? Will you break free? Will you step up? Say, step up with me. Step up. Step up. Step up. On the count of 3, guys, I want to hear to the same level that you want to let go of this fear, let go of these excuses, to the same degree that you scream, to the same degree that you bring the energy, will be to the same degree that this evaporates forever. It's gone forever. On the count of 3, Visalis, I want to hear what kind of noise, what kind of energy you guys can bring. 1, 2, 3, bring it, Visalis! Let me hear you! NSC VIP, repeat VIP. I love you guys. It's your life. You take control. I love you guys. We'll see you at the next event. Bye for now.